Hello guys, Greg back with another video. So today I'm doing episode 6 of my cheap but good fragrance series. The one that I'm reviewing today is what you can see here. This is Mugler Cologne from Thierry Mugler. Now although this is called Cologne, you can see on the box there it's actually an eau de toilette. There did used to be Cologne versions of these, but they're not in production anymore. So this was created in 2001 by master perfumer Alberto Morillas. Now, not going to list all the fragrances he's done because he has done absolutely tons, but probably the best known work was a collaboration with Harry Fremont, and that was CK1. So the inspiration behind this fragrance, now depending on where you look, it's supposed to be a soap that Thierry Mugler smelt that he wanted to replicate the smell of. It was either a soap from his childhood, a soap from a trip to Morocco, or both of those. It's also supposed to appeal to people that generally don't wear fragrances, so people that just want to smell clean and fresh. Now it's definitely a unisex fragrance. If you've ever seen the iconic marketing that went with this, in fact it's the thumbnail to this video, it's very androgynous. It's a human figure with one body but both female and male heads. So that kind of leans into that unisex theme, I think. So let's have a quick look at the presentation before we talk about the fragrance. Very simple, clean white box, white and silver, and some batch information on the bottom. Not really too much to say about that. I really like this bottle. I mean, first and foremost, look at the beautiful colour of the green juice in there. It's a very sleek bottle. I'm not sure what it's supposed to represent, to be honest. I'm not sure if you can see, but this is actually grooves in the glass there, which is really great detail. Plastic cap here, non-metal sprayer. It's actually a really good spritzer, and also what's nice is that this screws off and you can have it as a splash if you want to. And I don't generally use fragrances as splashes, but this one would be really suited to that because of the clean fresh smell that it gives off. Okay, so description and what I get out of this fragrance. What I'll do is, rather than go through the notes, I'm going to post them on the screen as I always do now, and then I'll tell you what I actually get from the fragrance. So what you see is what you're going to get with this one. It's not complex or risky or avant-garde or daring or even exciting. It's pretty linear, but more important than any of those things, and this may sound like a contradiction, it's freaking fantastic. Honestly, it's really, really great. So it starts out with a combination of 3 really clean, green, aromatic citrus notes. So you get bergamot, neroli and petitgrain. Now neroli's got that really nice light floral smell, which to my nose sometimes comes off with a little bit of honey. The bergamot adds a little bit of a spicy floral twist to it and a little hint of fruit, and then you get the petitgrain. Now whereas neroli oil is distilled from the blossom of orange trees, petitgrain oil is distilled from the leaves and then sometimes also the twigs and the branches, which can give a little hint of woodiness, which is what I think petitgrain adds to this fragrance here. Those 3 notes work perfectly together, and particularly in this fragrance they're blended perfectly together. They're almost an accord rather than 3 notes. Now if I had have smelt this fragrance at face value, I probably would have only picked up initially neroli, because it's only because I tend to wear fragrances for months and months and test and analyse before I do a review that I get to a point of dissecting them. But yeah, it would be very hard to pick those 3 individual notes out because they are blended so well. So for me this is a 2-stage fragrance. There's not much of a mid. The mid notes are listed as African orange flower or orange blossom, which is the same thing, and S, which I'll come back to. Now I can't really distinguish between orange blossom and neroli in this fragrance, so I don't get the addition of the orange blossom, and therefore I don't get any noticeable change between the top and the mid. The transition into the base for me again is only slight. You get white musk and vetiver. The base is very musky, but it's a beautiful soft white musk. It's not animalic at all. So back to that mysterious S note that I mentioned. Now the research I've done has led me to find that the S note is actually supposed to represent the smell, wait for it, of both male and female post-coital secretions. Apologies if anyone's eating. Now I suppose that would provide a really great juxtaposition to that pure clean soapiness in this fragrance, but alas, I don't pick up the S note. I'm probably quite innocent and virginal, so I wouldn't know if it was there, but I definitely don't get that at all. This is just a beautiful green, aromatic, soapy citrus fragrance, and a really great one at that. So performance-wise, longevity is actually pretty decent. Unfortunately, a large part of that longevity is as a skin scent. So the total time that I get on my skin is around 8 to 10 hours. But probably only about 1 to 2 hours of really good projection and CRs is worth talking about. It does push out quite nicely for the first hour or two, and the best thing is the CRs. It leaves a really good trail in those first sort of 2 hours. Purpose and occasion for this one. There aren't many situations this doesn't work. I mean, smelling clean and soapy is kind of always a good thing, I guess. So it wouldn't be a great night out fragrance, simply because there's going to be a lot of big hitters in the clubs and bars and stuff that are going to overpower it. And because it only projects well for a couple of hours, it's not the best scent for if you're out for a whole night. Also not best suited for cold weather, I'd say, because again it doesn't have that depth and strength to cut through the colder weather conditions. My favourite time for wearing this, casual days where I'm hanging around the house, going to the shops, or days when I'm in the office. Comparisons. Main two fragrances that Mugler Cologne gets compared to are Creed's original Vetiver and Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. Now to me this is far closer to original Vetiver than it is Neroli Portofino. In fact, for the first 2 or 3 minutes, it's very hard to tell them apart. The Creed fragrance develops more down a Vetiver and earthy, albeit mild earthy route, whereas Mugler Cologne stays very fresh, clean and soapy. There's a little hint of vetiver to my nose. In fact, if you look at the notes, there actually isn't any vetiver in this fragrance, but I think there is. Mugler Cologne only has a very slight similarity to Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino to me, and that is the burst of neroli. I'm in the minority there because most people think that they're clones, or at least smell very alike. Price-wise, it's not readily available in many UK retail stores, although it's certainly in production. I bought both of my bottles. This one's actually a backup here from the UK Mugler store, and paid £30 for 100ml, which is fantastic value in my opinion. Bearing in mind the fragrances that it's compared to, then it definitely stands up against them in my opinion. Let's do some ratings on this. Longevity wise, if I'm going to mark the fragrance for the total time that it's detectable on my skin, that is actually very good. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Projection and CRs, again for the reasons that I gave earlier, I'm going to give Mugler Cologne a 6 out of 10. Actual smell, without a doubt, 10 out of 10. Value, again, as I said before, this is compared to fragrances that are 5 times, actually 10 times as expensive perhaps, in the case of the Neroli Portofino, 10 out of 10 for value. Overall marks, now if you've watched some of my videos you'll know that I have included this video in my perfect 10 out of 10 fragrances video, and I stand by that, but that video was based on smell and smell alone. If I'm taking everything into consideration, I'm going to give Mugler Cologne an 8.5 out of 10, which is still great marks. Absolutely love this one. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. I can't see anyone not liking it, honestly. So there you go guys, that's the end of another review. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. Please do rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll be back soon. Cheers guys, bye.